Today we are going to be presenting our Ready, Set, Play program in conjunction with Family Place Libraries. Family Place Libraries builds on the knowledge that good health, early learning, parental involvement, and supportive communities play a critical role in a young child's growth and development. The overall goal of Family Place Libraries is to develop and institutionalize a family-friendly environment by transforming libraries into community centers for literacy, early childhood development, parent education and engagement, family support, and community information. Today, we're going to focus on nutrition, and we have Kelly Bland here with us today who will be presenting. She is from the University of Kentucky Davis County Cooperative Extension Service, the Nutrition Education Program. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to her, and she will be available for questions afterwards. So.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. Like Kim said, my name is Kelly Bland, and I am with University of Kentucky, but I am here in Owensboro at the Davis County Cooperative Extension Office, and there I am the SNAP-Ed Nutrition Education Program Assistant. And so today I am here to talk to you about feeding every little body and your kiddos at home and what they need every day to keep going. So every kiddo, and I know that especially those who have more than even how they play, everything about that child is different. And you'll see as you do have more children that every kiddo is different, even the ones that are in your own home. And so the younger years are a time when you can capture the children's habits and introduce them to new foods and a variety of foods as well. So children need a different variety of food so that they can get all the nutrients necessary for their growth and development. So you can serve a variety of foods and help that child get their adequate nutrients every day. So we encourage you to follow MyPlate guidelines and encourage healthy choices with your kiddos. So a balanced diet with physical activity will help your children stay healthy. So we encourage at least 60 minutes of physical activity a day for kids, where for adults, we only recommend about 30 a day. Now that 60 minutes of physical activity does not have to be all at once. You can go to the park and play for 20 minutes. You could take your kiddo for a walk. You could go outside and play tag, things like that. As long as they get a total of 60 minutes a day of physical activity is the requirements for MyPlate. So then with MyPlate, our guidelines are set up in that we encourage you to make half of your grains whole grains. So for your children, that may be offering some type of whole grain cereal, or even serving them whole grain breads or brown rice or brown whole grain pastas, things like that. Concentrate on calcium. Calcium is so important as our children are growing because it helps with bones and muscles. And we encourage you to choose, when the child gets to over a year, we encourage you to choose low-fat or fat-free options. They need that whole milk when they hit that year, but then after 2, they don't need the whole milk anymore, so we encourage low-fat or fat-free options in that. You want to make sure that you vary your veggies. So we always encourage, even with adults, we encourage you all to eat the rainbow. So a lot of times we, as Americans, only usually concentrate on certain colored groups in our vegetables. But we encourage you to eat a lot of red and orange vegetables, our dark leafy greens, and kind of watch how much of our starchy vegetables that we eat, like our corn and potatoes. And then we also encourage you to eat other foods or other vegetables that you may not normally try, even like there's purple vegetables, things like that. Because each different color vegetable gives you a different vitamin and nutrient in your diet. Focus on fruits. So when we eat our fruits, we encourage you to make it whole fruit, like the solid fruit, so that you can get it at its the most vitamins and minerals and nutrients out of those. And if you choose juices, we encourage you to make that 100% juice, so that you get the most of the juice instead of a lot of the extra sugar. We encourage you to vary your protein. A lot of times we stick with chicken or beef, but there's lots of protein choices available out there. There's fish and seafood. There's also beans, legumes, peanut butter, eggs, things like that. We want you to limit your sodium. So when you choose, if you choose to serve canned vegetables, we often encourage you to choose the no salt added variety or low sodium variety and add the seasonings onto those vegetables yourself. And then limit your saturated fats and trans fats that you'll find in a lot of our meat products and products that are from those meat things. So anytime trans fat is found in our animal products, and a lot of times you'll find trans fat in our bakery goods. It adds a long shelf life, and it adds all the flavor that we enjoy of those baked goods. So we encourage you just try to limit those. So with ChooseMyPlate.gov, Choose My Plate, which is where our lessons are always based on. MyPlate is, for those of us that grew up with the food pyramid, MyPlate took the place of the food pyramid back in 2015. And it helps us understand more of the food groups and how they break down and how we should eat them. So if you look at the MyPlate here on our picture, the MyPlate, half of our plate should be fruits and vegetables. Not only is this important for kids, but it's also important for us adults as well. And then you have a quarter of your plate is your grain serving, and then a little less than that is your protein, and then we don't want to forget our dairy. So when talking about MyPlate, you can go onto ChooseMyPlate.gov and find the layout based on the sex, age, and activity level of that person. And the Choose My Plate goes all the way down to a 2-year-old child. So if you're curious as to what you need and what your children need, you can go directly on this website and input your information, and it will tell you the caloric daily requirement for not only you, but your kiddo as well. So breaking it down to sample menus. So for example, a 2-year-old, based on the ChooseMyPlate.gov, it's recommended 1,000-calorie diet a day. So what that's made up of is 1 fruit serving, 1 vegetable serving, 3 grain servings a day, 2 ounces of protein, and 2 servings of dairy. Now, if you hear 1 vegetable, 1 fruit a day, and 2 ounces of protein a day, it sure doesn't sound like a lot of food, does it? But when you think that the size of a person's stomach is only the size of their fist, then that makes sense when you think only 1 fruit, 1 vegetable, and when you think about the size of the servings. So 1 fruit is a cup of fruit or a whole serving, like a whole apple, a whole orange, things like that, or 1 cup of juice or 8 ounces of juice. Then you can break that down easily for a little kiddo whose stomach is only as big as their fist. So if you look at your kiddo's hand, their fist isn't very big at all, and that means their tummy isn't very big at all. So your kiddo may only eat a little bit at a meal, but we also encourage snacks as well so that they have something in their tummy all throughout the day. And you think about how active they are, they're going to burn those calories off quickly. So I've posted on here, the next couple of slides are sample menus for different age groups. So if you look at our 2-year-old sample menu here, they have a half a cup cooked cereal, a half a cup of low-fat milk, and a half a slice of banana for breakfast. For snack, they have 2 graham crackers and half of a large orange. So there's our vegetable serving right there. And our fruit serving in breakfast and in our snack. And then for lunch, we have a slice of whole wheat bread with 1 slice of American cheese. So that slice of American cheese counts as a dairy serving. We have 1 ounce of sliced ham, 1/4 cup of spinach, and a half a cup or a quarter of a cup of cooked carrots. And then for snack, we have a half a cup of yogurt. So that's a half of a dairy serving there. And then for dinner, we have an ounce of chicken. We have a quarter cup of mashed potatoes, a quarter cup of green beans, a half of a small wheat roll, and a half a cup of low fat. So that is your 1,000-calorie diet there a day for someone who's 2 years old. So if you look at these other menus, as they get older, they get a little bit more calories. So a 3 to 5-year-old on average gets 1,400 calories. So as you increase the calorie intake, the servings in each of those categories are going to increase as well. And so this is just a sample menu, and I won't go through each of the menus, but I will pause so that you have an opportunity to look. And if you don't have an opportunity to get online and go to choosemyplate.gov, which the breakdowns are available on there, I have given Kim copies of some of our information. So I have a parent's guide handout, and in that is my MyPlate handout that has all of this broken down again. So you don't have to worry about writing any of it down. All of this is available online, and Kim will have it also in handout bags for you all available that you can look at there. And then you can always feel free to contact me at the Cooperative Extension Office. I'll have my information at the end of this presentation, and I'll be more than happy to mail you any of this information, or you can stop by and get it as well. So moving on to the next age groups, this is an example menu for 6 to 8, and then again for 9 to 10. And if you notice that their calorie intake goes up a little bit as well. So the 6 to 8-year-olds gets about 1,600 calories, and the 9 to 10-year-olds get about 1,800 calories. And so again, this is also based on their sex, whether they're a boy or girl, their age, and their activity level. All right, so I know that we have all heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but for little kids, it is really the most important meal of the day. A lot of our children go to bed early, and then they wake up early. So, but most of the time, they've probably been to sleep about 10, 12 hours, and that's 10 to 12 hours without any source of energy or food. So we encourage you to provide breakfast for your kiddos within the first 2 hours of them being awake. And out of that, so, you know, we had the 5 food groups. We always recommend that your breakfast cover at least 3 of the 5 food groups. So thinking back to that 2-year-old menu that we offered, we had a cereal, we had a fruit, so we had grains with the cereal, we had half of a banana, so that's your fruit, and then we had the milk, so that was our dairy. So that was 3 of the 5 food groups, because you only want your calories at breakfast to be about 20 to 30% of your calories for the day, or about 25 to 30. So that's why we just, to make it easy, say to offer 3 of the 5 food groups for breakfast. Yeah, I want to make sure that I cover that. So kiddos that eat breakfast in the morning, especially our school-age kids or kids that maybe are going to preschool, they have better behavior issues, fewer errors in school. Their cholesterol levels are more normal, and they tend to not overeat during the rest of the day. So breakfast not only is important just for their nutrition benefits, but also for their socialization benefits as well. All right, so when we're planning our menus, we do want to make sure that we include snacks as well, because their stomachs are so small and kiddos tend to burn calories a lot faster than we do. So we recommend 2 to 3 snacks a day. And what we want you to do in those snacks is anything that may be lacking from the meal that they had before, we want you to try to provide it at that snack time. So for example, if they had maybe a sandwich and veggies as a side, then maybe for snack that afternoon, you may want to offer a dairy and a fruit. So you can make a fruit and yogurt parfait for them. They love those. Or you could even do like apple slices and maybe some yogurt dip for them to dip it in, something like that. You want to try to make up what they were lacking in the meal before. And then you want to make sure that you're serving whole grains and fruits and vegetables. And when you're looking for whole grains, if you're looking for food that is already prepared, like your bread or your rice or crackers, look at the food label and read the ingredients. For it to be a whole grain, the first one or two ingredients need to say whole grain, whatever. So it may be whole grain, whole wheat. It may say whole rye, depending on what you're eating. Oatmeal is already a whole grain. So if you're serving an oatmeal, that's a whole grain. Even popped popcorn is a whole grain. Because when you're looking for a whole grain is something that's the kernel and everything included with that seed. So if you think about popcorn is a whole corn kernel. When it pops, that is from the inside, but when you're eating it, you're still eating that whole kernel that has been popped. So even popcorn is a great snack. We recommend that you air pop it and then season it yourself instead of microwaving, unless you buy the fat-free. But microwave popcorn has a lot of saturated fat and trans fat in it because it's solid at room temperature. And so you want to make sure that you kind of limit the amount of microwave popcorn, because even the ones that are 94% fat-free popcorn still are cooked in that saturated fat. It's a better choice than the extreme butter popcorn, but we always recommend air pop and then season it up yourself. All right, so introducing new foods. New foods should be encouraged and introduced, and several times you might take it before your children actually enjoy it. And even if they didn't like it once, doesn't mean that they won't like it again. Our taste buds change as we all grow, even as adults. Something that you didn't like as a child, you may enjoy now. Our taste buds are constantly changing. And we encourage you not only to try new foods, but we encourage you to try it with foods that you know that they already like. So let's say that they've never had a mango. We encourage you to try the mango, maybe make it something fun and have Taste Testing Tuesday and introduce a piece of mango, fresh mango, with your meals that you're already having. Maybe have your kiddo pick out something new that they'd like to try when you're at the grocery store. When you do that, we encourage you just to try to buy one of it instead of maybe a whole bag. Just try to buy one, because if you don't like it, you're not wasting money. And any time that you throw food away, you're throwing money away. So we always like to be budget conscious when we're trying new foods. You may need to offer it in several different ways. Let's say that you tried the mango and they didn't like it fresh, but maybe you make a fruit smoothie, throw some mango in there, and maybe that way they might like it that way. So one thing that we do, and I even do this when I teach kids, we offer Hello Bites. So even if it's something new, Miss Holly's on here. Miss Holly knows all about Hello Bites. When we do offer something new, we encourage them just to take a Hello Bite. And I never make a kiddo eat anything that they don't want to eat. Never. But I do encourage a Hello Bite. And what I tell them is, just take a little bite. They can touch it, they can smell it, they can just put it to their lips. But I encourage them just to take a little bitty bite. And if they don't like it, that's okay. We get a paper towel, we politely spit it in a paper towel and throw it away, and no big deal. I don't make a kiddo try it again. And then maybe again later, like in 2 or 3 weeks or a month down the road, I might try it again and introduce it again. But a Hello Bite is a great way to get kids and even adults a way to try something new. And then we always want you to do it in a small portion. Do you have a question, Ms. Holly, or are you just waving? Unmute yourself, baby. You're muted. Okay. And then we encourage you to, when you do introduce something new, to make it something small, not a huge portion of big serving of, sweet potatoes, but maybe just a couple spoonfuls where they can just try a little. Again, if they don't like it, no big deal. Did you get it unmuted?
Got it. I had to ask for permission.
Oh, I see.
I also really loved, so Miss Kelly came to our classroom, and I also really loved when you encouraged the kids to not say ew or gross, because then it affected their friend sitting beside them. Oh, Johnny doesn't like it, so I'm not going to try it. You did a great job encouraging that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, yes. And we because somebody's ooh and yuck will affect other, especially when you do have other kids at the table, they automatically get that thought in their head, well, I really like, or how, expanding their palate. So it is a good way we say, don't say ooh or yuck. If you don't like it, then just say no, thank you. That's what we tell the kiddos. Very good. Thank you, Holly. All right. So another thing is we avoid labeling kiddos as picky eaters. They're not picky, they're just choosy eaters. So they may be more reluctant to try new foods. Some children react more to texture, taste, and smell. I know that my son, for the longest time, did not like anything that felt slimy. And so, like, even something as simple as when I would give him bologna out of the bologna package, he wouldn't eat it if it felt slimy. And you know, a lot of times those packages have a little bit of liquid in it. So before I offered him bologna, I had to pat it dry with a paper towel before he would eat it, just to get that sliminess off of it. So a lot of kids don't like it if it feels different to them. So you might need to do things like I did and pat it or serve it a different way so they don't know that it's in there. Some other kiddos, and my youngest did this, some other kiddos may want the same food day after day, and we call that food lag. And that is perfectly normal, and it's perfectly okay. For the longest time, my son only wanted chicken nuggets. For the longest time, that was the only thing he wanted was chicken nuggets. But the good thing about our bodies is that our bodies will naturally start craving things that they need. So if your kiddo eats chicken nuggets 4 days in a row, that's okay. Eventually, his body will say, hey, I need some vegetables, or I need something different. I need a peanut butter and jelly. And don't be surprised, because this has happened several times. Don't be surprised if you stock up on chicken nuggets the next time you go to the grocery. All of a sudden, Jeffrey will say, I don't want chicken nuggets anymore, Mom. And then you're stuck with an extra large bag from Sam's in the freezer. True story. So just know that it usually will be temporary. The body will know when it needs something else, and he'll start craving, or she will start craving something else. So we don't ever want to force kiddos to eat anything. We also don't want to bribe kiddos to eat. If you eat this, then I'll give you ice cream or cookies, or, I'll give you a big bowl of applesauce. We don't want, because that will create a negativity towards that food. So we want them to, honor their preferences. If they want chicken nuggets, then that's okay. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to get into the habit of fixing 15 different meals. You just want to, what we recommend is that you offer what you're fixing your family for dinner. And if they don't want that, and if you're okay with it, then go ahead and offer them another alternative. So I don't mind the chicken nuggets. I can pop them in the air fryer. I can pop them in the microwave, whatever one. So usually you can have what I'm fixing for dinner, or you can have chicken nuggets or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Those are the two things I offer, because they're still getting protein. And with the peanut butter and jelly, they're also getting a grain. And so I'm okay with offering alternatives. But if they don't like it, those are eat. And if you don't like anything, then that's okay. As they get older, because my kids are now older, as they've gotten older, I have no problem with my kiddos fixing themselves something to eat. If you don't like what I'm serving, you're more than welcome to fix something that they eat. If you feel comfortable with them doing that, I strongly encourage that. That teaches them independence, and that teaches them how to fix their own meals. Eventually, because now my kids are all teenagers, eventually they are going to be gone and on their own. And that's a skill that they need anyways, to learn how to fix their meals. So if they are a choosy eater, we still encourage you to offer all the food groups. Again, if they don't want all the food groups at lunch or dinner, we encourage you to offer a little snack after to make up for what they're lacking. And really, honestly, don't worry if they don't want, what you're fixing and they just want to eat chicken nuggets, then that's okay. Your body will tell you when, or their body will tell them when they are lacking and need something else. And then another thing that I just thought of, it wasn't even in my notes, but another thing that I encourage a lot is make it fun. If you are going to have, say, peanut butter and jelly for dinner or for lunch, cut that sandwich up into a fun shape. Use cookie cutters to cut that sandwich into a shape. I know that sometimes just making it fun and more appealing will encourage them to eat it too, because who doesn't want it? One snack that we used to do a lot with kiddos when I was raising my little ones, they wouldn't eat goldfish crackers, just plain goldfish crackers, which I know is surprising because that's usually a go-to snack for kids, but my boys wouldn't. But what they would do is they'd go fishing. And so what I would do is I'd put a little bit of goldfish crackers on their plate, which PS is a whole grain cracker now. Good serving. So I'd put some goldfish crackers on their plate. I'd get the little skinny pretzel sticks, put them on the plate, and a tablespoon of peanut butter. So you have 2 grains and a protein. You take the pretzel stick, you dip it in peanut butter, and you try to see how many fish you can get and catch those fish. So we called that fishing. I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they will still eat fishing as a snack. Hilarious. But if you make it fun, call it something else like ants on. We have ants on a float, which is an apple ring, and you put your peanut butter and some fruit on that, and we call it ants on a float. Call it something fun. If you take broccoli, you can sprinkle Parmesan cheese on it and call it trees in the snow. You can dip it in ranch dressing, things like that. Make it fun. Call it something else. If you make it fun, they'll probably eat it. All right, so teaching kids healthy eating. Now, parents, this is for you. When you eat healthy, your kids will eat healthy. If your kids see you eating it, they'll be more likely to eat it as well. So not only do you want to serve your kids healthy foods, you want to serve yourself healthy foods as well. Also, let your kids help with the shopping and cooking. If they had an opportunity to pick it and help cook it in some way, they're more likely ready to eat it as well. One thing that we do in my family is that I got tired of trying to think of what to fix my family every night for dinner. So now I have 3 kids and I have a husband. So we have 5 days of menus right there. When I plan my menus on Saturday, I usually go shopping Sunday afternoon. So when I plan my menus for the week, every person in my family gets to pick what we have. And so like Tuesday is usually my son John's day because he always wants tacos. So we usually have Taco Tuesday, or I've got him to branch out a little bit and we'll make some type of Mexican themed dish if it's chicken enchiladas or something like that. And then Jeff gets a day, my daughter Rosemary gets a day, and my husband Mike gets a day. Not only, especially now that they've gotten older, not only do they get to pick what we have, but they also get to help me fix it when I cook it for their families or for our family. As they've gotten older, just now I'm teaching my youngest, who's almost 13, I'm teaching him how to use a knife. But before using a knife, he would use a butter knife to help me cut things up. When they were younger, maybe they helped me stir. Maybe they helped me mix or pour things into the bowl as we mixed it to get it together, if it was a casserole or something like that. Even opening a can of green beans and having your 3-4-year-old help you pour the green beans into the pan to cook it or microwave it. Things like that. If they pick the meal and if they helped fix the meal, then they're more than likely eating the meal. And then then they're more than likely to eat the meal that other person picked. So get your kids involved in the shopping and planning and cooking. And then if you make sure that your meal times and their snack times are pretty much routine, they'll be ready to eat when it's put in front of them. And then again, I've already mentioned being And then limiting fast food. So I know that a lot of our fast food restaurants have healthy options, even in the Happy Meals. So maybe when you run through that window and pick up a hamburger Happy Meal, maybe you choose apples instead of French fries. Or you as an adult, maybe you ask for the side salad instead of the French fries. When you make healthy choices, even when you go out, you can still eat out, just balance it out with something healthy. And then even at your restaurants, making healthy choices there as well. And we talked about this, eating meals together, but making them fun. Even if you don't have a dining room table that you sit at, even if you sit in the common area, your living room or wherever, together and eat together and have your meals together, turning off the TV, turning off electronics, making your table a no phone zone, and then having your kiddos use their favorite cup or plate, spoon, fork, even if you can get them involved in, I'm sure that we all have our own set of going to work and having them pick their very own plates and bowls. They'll be more likely to eat if you say, which plate do you want to use today? Do you want to use Dora or do you want to use, I don't know what's even popular. I was going to say Thomas, but I don't know if Thomas the Train is popular or not. That was what my boys liked. So they had a Thomas plate, and then they had just a random, like at the dollar store, they offered the plastic, like primary colors, a blue plate, a red, a green. And so we even did that because that would help encourage them to learn their colors as well. And then again, don't use food as a reward or bribe or punish your kiddo and sit there and make them eat the spinach like my dad did when I was little. Because see, it's still traumatized in my head. But make it fun, have them be involved in it, and they'll be more likely to eat. And if they don't eat it, again, it's okay, no big deal. They'll eat it when they're ready.
Hey, Kelly, can I add to your?
Yeah, go ahead.
So one thing that we like to do when we sit around the table, we play this game called High, Low, Go. And we get to share about our highest part of the day and our lowest part of the day. And then you're allowed to have a no low day. And then we all applaud. And then you get to pick the next family member to share about their day. And it's kind of like an organic flow of conversation without being so intrusive. Like, what'd you do today? What'd you do? What'd you do? It's like, what's your high part of the day? What's your low? And it just kind of starts conversations. And that is just that's a tradition we always do.
Very good. And it allows the conversation to be stretched instead of yeah, no, and you can build the conversation off of what their high day was or what the low of their day was. And then maybe even that's a good way to even problem solve if they had a low day, why, who, what, and it allows you, and it's a good way for, especially as they start flow among and so when they start talking and you start expanding and sharing ideas of how you can make the low higher, it's a good way to stretch that conversation and to learn more about your kids and their day and their friends at school and things like that. All right, so for more information about what we talked about, ChooseMyPlate.gov is a great resource, not only for what you should eat and how much you should eat of it, but it has a great source of recipes. It has a thing on there where kiddos can get on and play games and learn more about Move.com. That is UK's Nutrition Education Program's website. On there is recipes and resources, not only about eating healthy, but saving money and doing your food on a budget, things like that. And then my information is down below. My name is Kelly Bland. Contact where I'm located, and that's my phone number is 270-685-8480. Then you can also email me at kelly.bland@uky.edu. And then I am also personally on Facebook and Instagram with Davis County Nutrition Education Program. And I encourage you to get on there and like and follow my page. I post recipes, I post MyPlate tips, and I give you menu ideas. And then we also offer, once a month, we've been offering grab and go bags of different types of things. And in December, our theme is going to be Santa snacks, and we're going to offer recipes for different snacks you can make. And then we're also going to be giving out a cookie mix with frosting and sprinkles and cookie cutters so that you all can make cookies together for Santa. Yeah, I know. We're awesome, Holly. We're awesome. Yeah, I know. And so we always have that available out front of the Cooperative Extension Office in a tote or grab and goes. But again, if you follow on Facebook, I post when they're going to be offered, and those are limited. So if that's something that you may want to follow me, so you can be ready for that when it's offered. So that is the end of my presentation. I know I went through it really quickly. Does anyone have any questions?
You should be able to unmute yourself if you want to ask, or you can ask in the chat if you'd like.
Will you just say one more time, what was it to follow on Facebook?
So on Facebook, it's Davis County Nutrition Education Program. Yeah, I put my information back up on the screen so you all could see that. Again, the information that I went over today will be in the handout that Kim will have available for you all. And I have a lot more information. Gosh, I teach a lot of different lessons. And so I have information of all kinds geared toward adults. So if at any time you have any type of nutrition related question, please feel free to reach out to me. Because if I don't have it, I have a resource that will have it for you. But not only do I teach kids, but I also teach adults. And my topics are anything from the MyPlate to meal planning and budgeting to fat, salts, sugars, diabetes, food safety, all kinds of things like that. So if something pops up and you're not even sure, give me a call. No question is a stupid question. If I don't know the answer, I will find somebody who does. So.
It looks like we have a chat. Do you have any tips to help a 19-month-old stop throwing food off the plate or tray?
So my question would be, when they're throwing the food off the plate or tray, did they eat any of it before? If they have already eaten before, I would remove the plate or the tray because more than likely they're finished. If they haven't eaten any, then what I would do is remove the plate from their reach, and I would probably only offer one item at. I would probably. And again, if they're throwing it off the plate or tray, maybe they're not hungry, and maybe that's their way of telling you that they're not hungry. And I would put it away and maybe try again in 30 minutes to an hour later and see if they're hungry then.
I echo that, Kelly. I think that the motivation behind why is the food being thrown is a great question. My favorite parenting tip is to get curious, not furious. So yes, the food may be thrown, but why? There's got to be a motivation to why. All behavior is meaningful. So what's going on? Great.
Right. And you, as a parent, you need to just stay calm. I mean, and just, I think a lot of times we overthink a lot of things, especially with our kids, because we want to be good parents and we want to make sure that they eat and we know what's good for them, food-wise, behavior-wise, things like that. But sometimes if you are reacting with a lot of anxiety and being anxious about it, then that they're either gonna feed into that and think you're playing. They're going to get even more frustrated and anxious themselves. So you just stay relaxed, just relax. If they don't eat it, cool, don't eat it. I'll put it to the side and then offer it again later, or offer them something that they like if they haven't eaten. Especially, be concerned if they haven't eaten in several hours, because their stomachs are very small and that they do burn things off quickly. So if it's been several hours and they're still not eating it, then think about trying to offer something else in a different way, like a smoothie or a yogurt parfait or something like that, that maybe they could drink it instead of eat it, and still be getting the calories and the nutrients that they need that way. So, but I would, if they've eaten some, then I would think about why they're throwing it there. Think of something later, please feel free to email me or call me or even message me on Facebook. I'm usually very quick about messaging back. So time, shoot me a question. Even if, 2 weeks down the road, all of a sudden they're not eating their chicken nuggets and you're concerned, shoot me an email. I'm here for you. I'm always willing to answer anything.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your presentation. That was very helpful for me. I know I have a 4-year-old, so yeah. If we don't have any other questions, we will let Kelly go, and we'll move on to our toy presentation and our extension things. So,
bye guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, that was great. So today for our toy, what we are giving away kind of goes along with our theme. It is this Learning Resources Grow It My Very Own garden set. And inside it has a cute little watering can. It has a couple of little pots with little fake dirt in it. It has some vegetables, has a little radish and a little carrot, and it has a couple of flowers and a little shovel. And this toy is great for, it provides an ideal way to develop vocabulary and social skills by kids talking about planting and picking flowers and vegetables. So they're learning new vocabulary, new vegetables, and might not know what radishes are. And it's really good for developing imaginative play. And so the toy today and the extension or exploration station kind of go in together. The exploration station is just providing children with materials to create and explore using open-ended materials. And so today we're actually going to use these toys that we are getting. And we're going to add a little bit to it. So I have just gotten a tray of beans. They're just regular pinto beans. You can use any type of bean, any type of, you can use seeds, you can use rice, you can use any type of pasta, anything like that. Just something that they can kind of dig into. And actually, I'm going to elevate this a little bit so maybe you can see. And they can use these toys with the beans. Now I have it on a tray. You can put it in a bowl. You can put it in like the plastic containers. Those are good. And you just give it to them and let them play. The shovel is really good. They can scoop things up and put them in the little pots and pour it out. They can bury things. They can plant their seeds. Put it there. You might need a bigger bowl for that, but you can plant your carrots and plant your flowers. If you want to make it a little bit messier, this actually will hold water, and you can put water in it and they can pour it, or they can put their beans in here and pretend like they're pouring, and they can make a musical instrument with it. So basically, it's just a way of allowing children to explore open-endedly. They can play with it however they want to. You can provide tongs with it to help them develop those small motor skills. And there are a lot of benefits to this. When parents and children engage in healthy imaginative play together, it can help lower anxiety, your child's anxiety. It can improve academic skills, decrease disruptive behaviors, increase understanding of literature and emotional competence. And when you're playing together, it can help your child practice and acquire negotiation skills that they'll need when they get older and go off to school and when they start learning to share. Because when they're really young, they don't have the capabilities of sharing yet. And so you're just teaching them those skills that they'll learn or that they'll need to know whenever they start getting to that point. They can express and explore their feelings, exercise logical reasoning skills, and improve their concentration and focus. And so you can use whatever you have around the house. If you don't have beans, you can use dirt if you want. If you have sand, you can use sand. Beans are easy because they're easy to clean up. They're not as messy as some of those things. But they're very simple sensory bins that you can do with your children. And the toys that we're providing this week are easy ways or something that you can play with this with. You can play with it. You do not have to provide the beans or the other sensory materials for them to play with this. They can plant their own carrots. They can plant their own flowers. They can pretend like they're watering their flowers. But the beans just kind of extends it so that they can do other things with that also. And doing this, different ages are capable of different things. By 12 months, children should be playing favorites with familiar people. They should be more interactive with people or toys and that kind of thing, and enjoy simple interactive games like Pat-a-Cake and Peekaboo. By 18 months to 24 months, they should probably be having more temper tantrums because they're becoming more defiant because they're trying to communicate better. They should start doing simple pretend play, like imitating what other adults or kids are doing, and become interested in having other kids around. Now, at this age, they're not, like I said, they're not cooperating, they're not playing together, but they will be playing side by side. So that's when you see kids, they might be playing with toys together but separately. It's called parallel play. And then by 3 to 4 years old, they should be showing and verbalizing more emotions, being interested in pretend play, and they may be confused about what's real and what's make-believe at that point. And they should be playing with other kids and separate from caregivers more easily. But they might still be having temper tantrums because of change of routines and not getting what they want and that kind of thing. So when you're playing with your child or you're allowing your child to play, they are developing all of these skills that they'll use when they get a little bit older. So after the program today, you can come in and pick up your bag of goodies. And I think we have a book and we have information about nutrition. We'll have the stuff that Kelly has left for you. And then you'll be able to pick up your garden set also. Before we go, I have our songs that we're going to sing today. We're going to go over the songs that we've sang in the past, and then we will sing a new song. And so the song that we sang the first week was Round and Round the Garden. And you just take your child and you can do it on their hand, you can do it on their stomach, and we're just going to go around and around. And this is a fun tickle song. We're going to go round and round the garden goes the teddy bear. 1 step, 2 step, tickle under there. You just tickle under their chin, or you can tickle their belly, or it's under their arms. But it's just a fun tickle song. So we'll do that one again. Round and round the garden goes the teddy bear. One step, two step, tinkle under there. Now, the next song, you probably know it's Itsy Bitsy Spider, and you can do this in several different ways. When they're little, you can do or when they're a little bit older, you can do the little Itsy Bitsy Spider motion. If they're little bitty, and they can't do the motion, you can always do it up their back, or you can have them kind of put their fingers together like this, make the motion. And we're gonna go, the itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. Yay! Now there are fun ways that you can extend that song, and usually when I do story time, I'll start doing it, and I'll do the teeny tiny little spider, and I'll talk in a teeny tiny little voice, and talking in tiny voices and different voices makes things interesting for children. So we do the teeny tiny spider, and he goes up the water spout like this, and he talks really small because he has a small little body. Teeny tiny spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the teeny tiny spider went up the spout again. All right. Now, I always do another kind of spider, and I always do the huge and hairy spider. And this one will be easy for little ones to do, because we're just going to be clapping. So we go the huge and hairy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the huge and hairy spider went up spout again. Yay! All right, that's awesome. You can also do other things. You can do this super fast spider. I've done that one before. You could do the really slow spider. Done that one before. But you can add any kind of spider in there and make up your own movements. And that's a lot of fun. Now, our new song that we're going to sing today is a simple finger play that will help your child practice fine motor skills like body awareness and hand division. And it may also assist in developing memory and reinforce counting. And depending on the attention of your child, you can make it as long or as short as you want to. And this is 10 in the bed. We're going to do 5 in the bed today. So there's 5 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over. So they all rolled over, and one fell up. There was 4 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over. So they all rolled over, and one fell out. There were 3 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over. So they all rolled over, and one fell out. There were 2 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over. So they all rolled over, and one fell out. There was 1 in the bed, and the little one said, good night. All right, good job. The little one went to sleep in the bed all by himself, didn't he? All right. Now, we will not be having our program next week. We're going to take the week of Thanksgiving off. We will start back again on December the 2nd, and Miss Holly, who is here with us today, will be presenting about child development. And so she's great, and she's going to do a good job, and we appreciate her so much. And does anybody have any questions about our program today or anything about the program? We'll go ahead and get you, if you're interested, we'll go ahead and get you signed up for the next program. And we'll go ahead and do it early. That way you don't have to take that week off and worry about it. We'll get you signed up and we'll wait to send that link out to you until closer to time. But we will not have it next week. And after the program, feel free to come and pick up your bag and your goodies. And we'll see you after Thanksgiving. And thanks everybody for attending. Bye-bye.